Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here with DIVOted Talks. Divo. And if you're on YouTube, you'll see all the different hand signals I made as I was doing that. At any rate, um, geez. So I had two topics come up to mind, and I'll record the other one after this. But the first one was not being promised tomorrow. Like, it's very prescient right now. I was talking to a client this morning, and one of his best friends from church passed away. He had been sick, but we just don't know when it's going to happen. It's just this crazy reality of we're here until we're not, and then we don't necessarily expect it or know how it's going to happen or when. And there's all these accidents that can happen in between now and when our time is up. That might be the time that we're finished or done or not. It's a lot. It's a lot of up in the mind stuff. And so, what does not being promised tomorrow mean? Well, in the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom and all of those, they're not promised tomorrow either. There could be a storm, there could be a predator, there could be an herbivore if it's a plant that comes and grazes and completely destroys it. And sometimes the balance of nature requires that, but sometimes the balance of nature is a give and a take where not too much is removed so that life can continue in some of those instances, but sometimes it is fatal. And, you are faster than the predator until you're not. You are faster than death until you're not. You are faster than the mortality until you're not. And so, what does not being promised tomorrow mean? Well, live today as if it's your last is a fantastic way of thinking and feeling, but that also can lead to waste and, um, you know, disillusionment with what is important and what is not important. And we do say, and we see it in movies, and it's the plot line about, oh, look at all these, the way people transform when they think it's their last day and how they live their life differently when they don't have to worry about all the things that have nothing to do with who they really are outside of ideas in their head, right? A lot of us live into the things that we think we should be, slash, we've been told we should be, slash, what seems like the best option for us. And sometimes they're not the best option for us. And so, living today as if it's your last can be very powerful, but it also can be just a way of putting a band-aid on the fact that we are mortal. Could be a band-aid on, not wanting to have responsibility. It could be a band-aid on lots of different things. And so what yoga calls us to do, what Āyurveda calls us to do, is to be present so that we know what it is we are relating to it as. Are we relating to it as, a band-aid? Are we relating to it as a way of not facing the fact fully, or are we actually truly understanding what that concept of living as if today is your last means and what benefit it could do for us and for others around us? And so what I want to suggest here is that grieve, take your time, feel the emotions. Sometimes it could be just a person you met one time and it's very unfortunate to hear that they passed. Or, you saw somebody yesterday or talked to them yesterday and then they're gone the next day. And there's a lot of fine people that I have known over the years that are no longer here. And it's devastating in many ways, but it's also compelling in others where I can take their memory on with me and, express the changes that they facilitated in me into the world. I am better for having known them. I am better for having gone through the things that I did. I am better for having been where I was up until now. And so, bearing that in mind, how would you live differently if you understood more poignantly that it's not just about living with reckless abandon? It is about recognizing that there are little things in life that are just as fulfilling as big and grandiose things. And there are things that society will never recognize as being amazing that can be amazing to us and or are amazing to us. And so the, you know, transformation opportunity within this knowledge and this line of thinking is what is important to you. How many of you actually have sat and thought about what's important to you? Why do you want to achieve the things you want to achieve? Is it because other people have it or somebody told you you should want it? Contemplation and evaluation is a very powerful tool in this endeavor because it allows us to get more connected to self at a not just visceral level, but also at a mental and spiritual level, where we can measure our importance of things up against we can measure the import or the importance of things of us against what actually is. I'm not exactly sure how to phrase that. Let me pause for a second. It allows us to measure the importance of these things that are taking up space in our lives, in our minds, in our hearts, against society, and then also against the greater universe, right? Like, how are we showing up as creatures with such high intellectual capacity? We're able to think our way out of things that are so natural to everything else that exists on this planet. We're able to think our way into pain and suffering when there is no actual pain or suffering stimuli present. We can think it into existence, and then we can experience it in that thinking of it into existence within our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. And so being able to sit and take things that you want, things that you think you want, and then measure them up against truth as it exists to you right now, and maybe even journaling on it so that you can revisit it every decade or every 5 years and see if it's still that same way, right? There's a lot of things that if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have done differently because it would have been a cool experiment to see. But I can't change what I knew and didn't know back then. I can only change going forward. And so a lot of times I've trusted people and sought guidance on how to achieve certain things, only to find out after I learned what they know that they don't sometimes know nearly as much as I thought they did, nor is it helpful to my life, nor do they know how to help me apply it to my life. And so I was very let down and very disappointed, and that's no judgment on them. It's just being able to recognize that nobody knows me better than me. Even when I coach people, I let them know that they are the expert of themselves. They may have confusion about what something is, but they are still the expert because they are the only one who can experience what is to be experienced. I can only assess externally based on who I am. And sometimes I can be very clear and I can be very spot on with people. And sometimes I am projecting. And being able to know when I'm projecting is the essence of being a strong leader or not. Being able to tell when I am putting my things on somebody else is responsible leadership. It's responsible guidance, but also an evolution from this reflexive experience of life to an actionable and intentional life. So my friends, be well, be free, and remember that we are not promised tomorrow, but that is not a negative. That is a positive because you can step forward and be all you can be, knowing that if you don't do it now, when? Talk to you soon.